Hello friends, before we start today's topic, let me ask you a simple question. Do all the materials around us look similar to you? Of course not. They have different properties that make them unique. And today, we will explore the fascinating world of materials and their properties. Let's start by observing the appearance of the materials. Look at the piece of iron and pieces of wood. Can you find any differences between the two? Yes, the iron pieces have a shiny appearance, while the pieces of wood do not appear shiny. If you have noticed, a similar type of shine is present in aluminium, copper, and silver. Do you know what is common among them? Yes, they are all metals and have shiny surfaces. And such materials that have shiny surfaces are said to be lustrous. Contrary to this, materials like wood, rubber, or paper do not have shiny surfaces and are said to be non-lustrous. However, sometimes appearance can be misleading. Not all that shines is metal. Now, why is this? Is because sometimes materials like wood are polished with varnish to make them appear shiny, though they are non-lustrous. For the next property, let us try to compress an iron block. We can't compress it, right? That's because iron is a hard material. Now, try compressing a piece of sponge. So easy, isn't it? That's because the sponge is a soft material. But we must remember that softness and hardness are relative properties. And what do I mean by relative property? When we say that softness and hardness are relative properties, it means that their perception depends on what you are comparing them to. Let me explain with an example. Imagine you have a sponge and rubber in front of you. If you touch the sponge, it feels soft. Now, if you touch the rubber, it feels hard, right? But what if you compare the rubber to a piece of iron? Suddenly, the rubber doesn't feel as hard anymore. So, that means hardness and softness depends on what we compare them to. Alright, let's move ahead. I bet you all must have played hide and seek. Where do you hide? Probably behind a tree or a door, maybe behind a curtain. And why do you choose these spots? Well, because they keep you hidden from sight, right? Now think about it. What if the curtain you chose to hide behind was made of clear glass? Hiding would be impossible because everyone could see right through it. Now, let's see how materials are used to hide or see objects. Materials can be classified into three types based on how well we can see through them. First, there are transparent materials like glass, water, and air. You can see clearly through these materials. They are perfect for making windows. Second, we have opaque materials like wood, cardboard, metals, and stone that block our view and we can't see through them. These materials are suitable for making doors or walls. And then there are translucent materials like frosted glass and butter paper. We can see partially through them. For example, you must have seen translucent curtains filter sunlight. They let the sunlight come through, but in a soft, gentle way, right? You can see the light shining it, but not clearly enough to make out details on the other side. Alright, now imagine it's a hot summer noon and you're craving something hydrating and refreshing. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Lemonade, of course. You squeeze some lemon, add sugar to the water and give it a good stir. But the question is, can you see the sugar after this? No, because the sugar has completely dissolved in water. And do you know why this happens? Well, it's because some materials are soluble, which means they completely dissolve into the liquid and seem to disappear. For example, when you add salt to water, it dissolves completely. And not just materials. Some gases can dissolve in liquid too. For instance, oxygen dissolves in water. Now, this dissolved oxygen is crucial for aquatic plants and animals to survive. They depend on it to breathe and carry out various life processes. Without enough dissolved oxygen, their survival would be at risk. Talking about aquatic life reminds me of something. For instance, consider a pond and think about soil or sand in water. You must have seen them settle at the bottom of the pond. This means they don't dissolve in water. Hence, they are insoluble materials. Let me share one more example. Have you ever tried mixing oil and water? Yes, they do not mix and form separate layers. Hence, we say oil is insoluble in water. Let us continue with the example of sand and water to understand one more property of materials. For this, try this simple activity. All you have to do is hold two paper cups, one filled with water and the other with sand. What do you feel? The cup with sand feels heavier, right? That's because the cup with sand has more mass than the cup filled with water. Mass measures the amount of matter in an object. The more the mass, the heavier the object. Similarly, the lesser the mass, the lighter the object. Can you tell me which plate will be lighter to hold? A plate full of cotton or a plate full of stones? Spot on. A plate full of cotton will be lighter than a plate with stones. You're getting a hold of it. Now let's try pouring water from a big bottle into a small glass tumbler. You can't fit all the water in the glass, right? That's because the bottle has more space than the glass. This space is called volume. Volume measures how much space is inside an object or how much liquid it can hold. Friends, we see measurements of volume every day. For instance, the water bottle you carry may be of 1 liter or 2 liter. Similarly, when your mom buys milk packs, she might say 500 ml or 1 liter. Your favorite cold drink cans can also come in various sizes. Now you might have noticed that when I mentioned 500 ml, I didn't just say 500. That's because L, liters, and ml, milliliters, are the units we use to measure volume. So friends, that's all for the day. We've learned some amazing properties of materials. Try to explore these properties with the materials around you. Keep discovering and happy learning.